please don't come from breaking into your business. That's all.
But they're the ones who brought us into their business.
How's that?
Because they filed a copyright strike on us.
Hey,
Filed a copy
no way.
of the clip that they flagged. And so we called Bloomberg.
Bro, what is this guy's deal? That's a public sidewalk, literally absolute right to record there. What the fuck, bro? And he's like pestering them.
A rude
Yeah, what is this intimidation? Yeah, it's like intimidation. Who has told the security guard to fuck? Like, dude, there's something going on here. This is not normal. This is not normal behavior from Bloomberg at all. So I've heard a bit about this. This is like I think a DMCA issue. So we've got this video from Louis Rossmann, and then we've got gamersnexus talking about it. But apparently gamersnexus have been like struck on DMCA for some bullshit, but I don't know much about it.
Imagine if the president said that chocolate is illegal. Crazy, right? Just insane thing. But let's say the president said chocolate's illegal, and I want to talk about that in my channel. If I want to talk about it, I may want to provide evidence and proof that the president said chocolate is illegal. And if I'm making a video about it, I might include a very short video clip of the president saying chocolate is illegal. Imagine if the company that filmed the president saying chocolate is illegal filed a DMCA takedown claim on my video because I included their video. That would be the biggest violation of fair use that I can imagine. If anything, the president...
I mean, I'm fairly certain, obviously there might be some exceptions to this that you could point to, but generally speaking, if a news organization is putting out something, like, I think there's a general acceptance that as long as you don't fucking just rebroadcast it or something, like, that is like the ultimate fair use you can imagine, including that in your content, right? Chocolate is a metaphor for black freedom. Okay. Yeah, this seems, I mean, I would struggle to see how you would argue this is like a significant breach of like copyright, dependent on the usage. Dude, the Johnny Bravo video was fucking hours ago. That was like fucking 4 hours ago, dude. Yeah, I'm going to watch the gamersnexus video after this, but I thought this would be a good little intro to what's going on.
President saying something and us being able to hear what the president says, in my opinion, is very important because the president is one of the most powerful positions in the United States besides the people that pay for him to actually get there. In all seriousness, this is a documentary that was taken down by Bloomberg LP on gamersnexus's channel. So Steve at gamersnexus did the work to travel to China, and he recorded a 3.5-hour documentary going over how GPUs get smuggled into China that get around export controls. What are these GPUs doing there? Who's doing it? How are they doing it? People like hiding GPUs in baby bumps. It's all sorts of crazy shit. It reminds me of this Information article that came out 7 years ago that was talking about how parts leave Apple factories, where they're talking about these tunnels that get dug under the factory so that they could take the recycled parts that will otherwise be ground up into dust, break them into pieces, shove them in their underwear, and then bring them here so that people like me can buy them and get chips off of them to fix your products. This is a very, very interesting documentary, and I found it interesting for a number of reasons. I don't really understand the point of the export restrictions because, to my knowledge, a lot of these AI models, you're not using one GPU, you're using many GPUs in parallel. So if you're selling a GPU that's less capable, does that really matter when you could just run a bunch of them in parallel? I was very curious what the purposes are for this. Who are the people who are buying these? What is the demand for? How is this being done? Which GPUs are allowed and not allowed? Because a lot of this is very, very confusing to me. I mean, at one point, it's a security risk to be able to export any GPUs there. And then if you give the government a bribe, I guess you're allowed to. I wanted to learn about this. So I wanted to watch this documentary, and I watched a portion of it. I didn't watch the entire thing. I go to watch the rest of it, and I see that it's been taken off of YouTube.
So also, it's part of a larger documentary, and they've literally used a clip. The only thing possible is that maybe it's content ID, or is it a strike? Have they struck the channel?
Bloomberg LP has claimed it. Bloomberg is a news website that I highly suggest if you go to view, use a paywall blocker on, because these people are pieces of shit.
Like, the point is that, like, content ID could be annoying, but it is just the way it works. If you use any amount of footage, it gets claimed. But if it's a strike, it means someone has had to manually go in and file a copyright strike on the channel, which is obviously more fucked up, right?
To pay $40 a month to watch this just because I enjoyed Matt Levine's column. It's a very good financial column, and I stopped paying at the point that they had non-skippable ads in video coverage. So there are some things that they have on their website that are not articles, they're only included as video. And for me to watch the video, I would have to watch an unskippable ad after paying.
No, this is normal speed. Louis Rossmann just talks at 1.5 speed.
$40 a month for several years Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, getting to the point of this is a really slippery slope to go down. Sometimes when the president speaks, there are numerous news outlets there that are able to listen to him speak. But sometimes there may only be 1 or 2 reporters there. And if I'm the one reporter there, do I get to file a DMCA takedown notice on anybody who includes a clip of the president speaking in their video? What, are we just going to accept that this is normal? That if one outlet...
Bro, this is like outrageous. Like, this is so standard. Like, news orgs constantly have their footage used, like short clips and stuff. It's the nature of news, you know. A news org has something, and then other news orgs have it in their coverage, and they say courtesy of, or you know, whatever fucking organisation that's provided the footage or has filmed it, or recorded it. You know, it's also reporting gets written about other reporters' news as reported in X fucking thing. You know, all of it. It's you know, news stuff tends to be so available for fair use shit that it's just never an issue, right?
Towards the president speaking, that outlet now has a monopoly on who is able to quote the president? It's insane. How are you supposed to demonstrate and prove that the president said this in your video if you can't use my recording of the president speaking? And if fair use is to mean anything at all, it would apply to when the commander-in-chief of the United States is speaking on a topic of relevance to a documentary. What is fair use for if you can't use it to quote the president speaking? This is not some great transformative work. It's not like Bloomberg made a sequel to Pinocchio and he's including it in there and he's monetizing it. He's including a recording of the president speaking on export controls and dealing with China and dealing with NVIDIA because it is relevant to the topic that he was talking about for 3.5 hours. Now, it's possible that this was just done because Bloomberg just has some sort of automated content system that just randomly strikes things. Or it could be done because they care about keeping a good relationship with China. It's not like crazier things haven't happened in the...
Okay. That sounds a bit too tuneful for me, I gotta say. It seems far more likely that it's an overzealous copyright strike than they're trying to protect China. I don't know, that sounds a bit nuts to me.
the past, did Bloomberg News shelve its China story over access concerns? This dates back to 2013. An investigative report linking one of China's wealthiest businessmen to the families of top Communist Party officials was allegedly shelved by Bloomberg News over fears it would anger the Chinese government. That's according to reports from the Financial Times and the New York Times. They say Matthew Winkler, editor-in-chief of Bloomberg News, told reporters in a new conference call in October that the story about the billionaire real estate developer couldn't move forward because China...
I mean, it's fine to bring this up, but I don't really feel this is good evidence that they did this to protect China. An article from fucking 12 years ago. I don't know about that.
Might retaliate by forcing the agency and its reporters out of the country. When Bloomberg News' reporting on China was challenged, Bloomberg tried to ruin me for speaking out. Bloomberg lawyers in Hong Kong threatened to devastate my family financially and take me to court if I did not sign an NDA, even though I had never been a Bloomberg employee. Bloomberg has not shied away from censoring content from their own reporters, much less outside journalists, when it comes to trying to keep positive relations with the Chinese government. This is weird. And let's say that that has nothing to do with it. Are you really going to say that you have a monopoly over what the president says? I need to be able to hear what the president says so that I can make my life decisions and my business decisions and adjust my viewpoints accordingly. This is the most clear-cut case of fair use that I've ever seen in my life. Like, not to shit on Asmongold, but it's not like somebody's just watching the video and nodding, eating popcorn, and then re-uploading it and getting hundreds of thousands of views and making money off of it.
Wait, what? First of all, I'm not going to get hundreds of thousands of views, and secondly, I'm not even eating any popcorn.
Genuine transformative content. It's a 3.5-hour documentary, including a very small clip of what the president said, which has zero creative input from Bloomberg. The part that Bloomberg claimed in their complaint is the part where the president is speaking. That's not Bloomberg's entertainment content. That's not their transformative content. That's not their artistic content. What is fair use for if not for this?
I mean, this sounds really bad, like because you're in the US, there is precedent that's been set that you must consider fair use before filing a copyright claim. And that's off the back of that woman who in a YouTube video in the background, in a very scuffed audio, was playing some fucking song for 10 seconds and they filed a copyright claim against her. That then ended up setting a precedent you must consider fair use for filing it. So it doesn't sound like they've considered fair use for filing it, which obviously sounds really bad. I guess we're going to get into the gamersnexus video, but it would be good to understand, you know, what step of the process is gamersnexus in at the moment? Do you know what I mean? Here we go, trouble on the fence take. I'm not riding the fence. I'm just pointing out that although this is a very bad thing that's happened from the sounds of it, I'm interested to see what gamersnexus response is and if they've, say, filed a counterclaim or something along those lines. You know, that's what I'm saying.
I hope that Steve Burke goes to Bloomberg and gives them a piece of his mind. I hope he has to speak to their legal department. If they don't solve the issue, I hope he finds a lawyer. If he doesn't find a lawyer, I will find one for him. Because this is bullshit. That story needs to be told. This is the best documentary that I've seen on this issue. I've genuinely enjoyed it, and I intend to watch the rest of it. And I hope you all do too.
I think it's
That's for
fine to start
today,
with this,
and as
isn't it?
always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you.
I think this is fine to start with this. Because this is just more of an intro to it that I saw. And plus I like watching Louis Rossman. I think Louis Rossman's great. I am a big Louis Rossman simp. Oh, I forgot to set up a goal. Okay, I'll do like one for like an hour. There we go. 15 super chats in an hour. I reckon we can do that.
See you on the next video. Bye now.
Okay. Anyway, look, there it is. See, look, I watched that and boom, right into the next thing. Easy peasy. So this is obviously a documentary but this is what we're interested in.
Well, clearly we struck a nerve. Go figure that when you cover crime, corruption,
Where's
and
BlackBerry?
money,
Yes, true.
it upsets people who like money. This is Bloomberg. Bloomberg likes money. I came out here at 5 a.m. this morning to make sure and
Dude, I gotta say, I respect the effort here that he's gone all the way out to fucking Bloomberg at 5 a.m. to give him some shit in real life.
it sure seems like they have a lot of it. Bloomberg filed an illegitimate and invalid copyright strike against our 3.5-hour long movie.
Okay, here we go. Bro, we received a copyright removal request from YouTube. Okay. And then content use here. And then content found during so a 1 minute 15 clip in a 3-hour 20-minute documentary. It is utterly outrageous to file a copyright strike for that. And also, I don't even know how this would be automated. How would this be automated? Like someone would have had to somehow submit this to go through. Because it's not content ID. If it was content ID, it's like, yeah, shit happens, annoying, you have to contest it, and hopefully they retract it and you're laughing. But no, someone has actually gone and filed an actual fucking copyright strike for this.
About the AI GPU black market earlier this week, and our attorneys have prepared a response, but it's written in legalese.
Hey, look at this, they're fucking going all in. Having reviewed the video in question and the assertions contained in the takedown notice, YouTube sent to gamersnexus believe there was no basis for a good faith claim of copyright infringement. Either the takedown request was submitted in bad faith or without a clear understanding of what constitutes copyright infringement, which seems unlikely given the legal sophistication of Bloomberg. Well, yeah, dude, 1 minute 20 clip and a 3-hour 20-minute video is fair use without... There would need to be an extreme circumstance for that to not be fair use, which I can't even fucking think of. But this is as fair use as it fucking gets. The video issue consists of an in-depth news investigation into the efforts of third parties, smuggling video cards. The video's issue is approximately 3 hours in length. As part of the video, gamersnexus included a clip of President Trump speaking about the applicable export controls and the need to prevent the distribution of NVIDIA's technology to China. The video clip originated with Bloomberg and was properly attributed to Bloomberg. The use of the segment of the video falls squarely within protected fair use. Section 107 provides a relevant part that the fair use of copyrighted work for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research is not an infringement of copyright. The video issue presents investigative news reporting that adds significant commentary, expression, and meaning to the original work. As noted, the video clip of President Trump only consists of a 1 minute of a 180-minute video. Okay? The absence of copyright infringement should have been apparent to someone with even a basic understanding of US copyright law. Nevertheless, Bloomberg submitted a takedown request against my client's video. This action has caused and continues to cause damage to gamersnexus. The takedown request resulted in the immediate removal of the video from YouTube and the associated loss of viewership. The takedown also resulted in a strike against gamersnexus' YouTube account. The strike affects gamersnexus' ability to monetize its videos and limits certain features available to gamersnexus. Accordingly, Bloomberg's wrongful takedown request is causing real and direct monetary harm to my client. Yeah, dude, honestly, gamersnexus won against Linus. I know there's a lot of Linus fanboys that like to claim that Linus was in the right there. No, gamersnexus was absolutely in the right. And Linus was like lashing out, particularly when he did so after the fact. Very egregious. Very egregious. And it was a classic thing of like Linus thinking, oh, he's my mate. Like, why are you going against me? Like, basically, he expected gamersnexus to sweep for him, as far as I can see. And he wasn't willing to do that. And in fact, I think that previously they'd given ample opportunity for Linus to fix a lot of these problems or speak to them directly without going public. And some of the things just didn't change. Anyway.
And I thought it might be better to explain our response to Bloomberg to our audience by using a more universal language. Now, the safest thing to do would be to accept the strike, wait 90 days, and then say nothing of it ever again. But first of all, I've got New York's angriest defector who's saying this.
I hope that Steve Burke goes to Bloomberg and gives them a piece of his mind. I hope he has to speak to their legal department. If they don't solve the issue, I hope he finds a lawyer. If he doesn't find a lawyer, I'll find one for him. Because this is bullshit.
Hopefully he doesn't copyright strike me. And secondly, does that sound like us? To just say nothing of it ever again? You can get a free copy of our movie included with backer tier orders on store.gamersnexus.net. Our content is pushing enough buttons that large corporate bootlickers are abusing copyright systems to take it down. Just like the black market GPUs, you can get your own black market copy of the first ever GamersNexus full feature movie on the store by buying one of our backer tiers. These include different types of products, like our Turn a Blind Eye t-shirt that says the Chinese idiom uttered every time we asked those in the illicit GPU supply chain if NVIDIA is aware of export control violations. Our Kingpin backer tier includes a tube of Kingpin thermal paste, a GPU paper launch t-shirt, in addition to the blind eye and blacklisted shirts.
Okay, I'll let this play. That's only
fair. Our brand new GPU VRAM glassware with gold halo and more. It even includes a special upcoming small group Q&A session with me. Or you can grab the Fence tier, which has the pint glass, a bonus video, a black market sticker pack, blind eye t-shirt, and wallpapers. Every one of these tiers comes with a free copy of our movie that we're writing to 128 gigabyte USB keys. So you also get a usable, large capacity USB key, allowing you to preserve our movie in your collection, no matter who strikes it next. Finally, our honeypot...
No, it's not content ID. It's not content ID. I would... Listen, guys. I have I mean, this is when I was a much smaller creator back in the day. But I have said before, it's really annoying when people misrepresent content ID, because there's obviously problems with copyright. And content ID could be frustrating to deal with. But it is just a normal part of dealing with YouTube. That people put all their fucking back catalogue into fucking YouTube's innards, and then they claim anything if you use 10 seconds or whatever it is, you know? But this is a specific strike. So there's no excuse for this. This is not automated. This is obviously someone at Bloomberg, for whatever reason, has decided to file what is obviously a totally bogus and bullshit fucking copyright strike.
T-shirt is a charity shirt where we donate its profit to multiple organizations, one of which is archive.org, which assisted in preserving our movie and feels fitting here. We're happy to share that profit with them. Head over to the store to support our ability to fight against censorship by large corporations. Bloomberg said it wasn't appropriate to call them with questions. They must prefer the old-fashioned way, face-to-face conversations.
Whatever's out there and stuff like that, please don't come from Bloomberg into your business. That's all.
But they're the ones who brought us into their business.
How's that?
Because they filed a copyright strike on us. Bloomberg filed a copy...
No way! Balls of steel against this fucking weirdo security guard.
Copyright strike that deleted our NVIDIA AI GPU black market smuggling investigation video from YouTube. They claim the reason for this is that we had an attributed clip of US President Donald Trump speaking about the unban of NVIDIA's H20 GPU, placed at minute 22 until 23:15 in the video, which includes some of our own studio recorded voiceover. The clip we included is absolutely 100% within our fair use rights for inclusion and is not a creative work by Bloomberg. It is not copyright infringement. It's allowed. This was an abuse and continues to be an abuse of the copy strike system on YouTube by Bloomberg. Our attorneys have sent Bloomberg a demand letter and have...
Yes, dude! Oh my god, bro.
...of the copy strike system on YouTube.
I didn't realize it was made so clear here. YouTube copyright strike, not to be confused with YouTube content ID claim. I didn't know that Wikipedia made it so clear. Bro, there's a bunch of retarded YouTubers that need to go and look at this and understand the difference between a copyright strike and a content ID claim. Dude, the amount of people that have said, I've been copyright struck, and it's a content ID claim, and it explicitly says, this is not a copyright strike. Because they want to fucking zhuzh up some fucking victim narrative on their channel. So fucking annoying, dude.
Bloomberg. Our attorneys have sent Bloomberg a demand letter and have filed a counterclaim with YouTube. YouTube has accepted our counterclaim, which means our video will go back online in about 10 days, unless Bloomberg produces evidence to YouTube that it has filed a lawsuit against...
Oh, there we go. Perfect. So they have taken the right steps. Yeah. I mean, this is a perfectly legitimate thing to do to call this out, so this is all fair enough as far as I'm concerned. And they've followed the correct steps to get it reinstated. I mean, I would be surprised if Bloomberg took... I mean, dude, if they took legal action off of this, I mean, that is just literal... What fucking lawyer are they consulting there? This is like the easiest fucking win on the part of gamersnexus going. So content ID, do you not know the difference? So basically, content ID is a system that YouTube uses that they've put in place in order to simultaneously and primarily placate people that own large collections of content, and also mean that creators don't have to deal with constant copyright strikes for putting certain content in the videos, right? So if you're a movie studio, you go to YouTube, you give them all the fucking back catalogue of your movies that goes onto their system. On Content ID, YouTube can detect if you've used that content, and then they'll do whatever the copyright owner is instructed. They'll either take the video down, or they will monetize it, but the monetization goes to the copyright holder, or no action, which is quite rare. You know, there's one where they just track what's going on, but normally they'll take the money for themselves. The reason this is actually beneficial for creators is it means you're not constantly having to deal with copyright strikes from like massive movie studios from putting, you know, 10 seconds of a movie in your video, or alternatively you've put a clip of music in your video or something like that. The most common thing you see for like that I see is music stuff, because obviously you watch a video, it's got some copyright music in, and the stream gets taken down for Content ID. Now, it's not perfect for creators. There are obviously problems with that. So for example, if you're someone that does movie reviews and you're using footage of a movie in your review, then you're probably going to get pretty hard hit by Content ID stuff, right? But the reason it's better than the alternative is you get copyright strikes on your channel, right? So Content ID does favor like big movie studios and big creators of content over creators on the platform, but it means that creators on the platform are able to deal with copyright issues in a way that doesn't mean they get inundated with copyright strikes and their channel gets fucked up and stuff like that, right? So not perfect by any means, but certainly better than the alternative. And you can't not have Content ID, because one of the reasons I think Content ID came into place is people like big studios and stuff were concerned about YouTube. Dude, I can't remember exactly. Was it to do with the Viacom thing? Is that what it was? I can't fucking remember. But in any case, it is better than the alternative, which is copyright strikes. So with Content ID being in place, a copyright strike is when someone manually files a DMCA against your channel, okay? And there's various ways that they can do it, but the most, my guess, the most common way is they file just an immediate copyright strike. It means the video gets taken down, whereas with Content ID, in many cases, the video stays up, right? But it means the video gets taken down and you get a copyright strike applied to your channel. And if you get 3 copyright strikes, it can mean that your channel is removed completely because it is considered too high a risk to have that on the platform when it's, you know, breaching copyright so regularly. So the difference is Content ID is kind of like automated. It's not nothing. No person has done it. It's just kind of, you know, if you've used the content, it gets picked up and it gets fucking dealt with accordingly. Whereas copyright strike, someone has to go or see on your channel that the content is on there, and then they go and file a DMCA, which can massively fuck your channel up. I've obviously dealt with this with Dark Viper in that situation, because I didn't want to end up in a legal tussle with him. I ended up just accepting the DMCA, which is kind of annoying and cucked, but it is what it is. Rather than respond and send through my personal details, which could, you know, potentially, who fucking knows what would happen with that. So that was obviously annoying, but that's the decision that I made, obviously in the past now. And the other time I dealt with it was actually more beneficial on my side, because Morgpie's management company filed a copyright strike against my channel because I used a portion of a live stream talking about Super Mega, obviously covering it and talking about it, right? But I was actually able to successfully fight that. I can't remember what did it, but I spoke to that Mario guy who said they were willing to help me out with it, which was, you know, good. And I don't know if that even had any impact, but I sent an email and just did what I could, and eventually they retracted the strike. So that was a win. That was a win. Now, to be fair to Morgpie, and also to other big creators, Morgpie more so, really. I can understand why Morgpie's management company might be quite quick to file copyright stuff, because obviously Morgpie is a pornographic actress, and I'm certain that there's lots of copyright issues with that kind of content. So, you know, I wouldn't normally begrudge the idea of them shooting first and asking questions later. But the thing is, my video was so clearly like transformative. I mean, even if you want to do the whole fucking gay, oh, you reacted to the whole video, so it's not transformative shit. I didn't even react to the whole stream. I reacted to a portion of it. I think 15 or 20 minutes of like a fucking hours long stream. So there was like no possible angle that you could argue that it wasn't fair use. It's ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, that's the difference. That is the difference. And the reason that it matters to be, you know, specific about what has happened is because a copyright strike has a lot more negative implications, particularly on the person that's filed it, than like a content ID claim, which is just an automated, non-personal system, you know? And people often have played fast and loose with that in order to claim victimhood when they've just been content ID'd, which is annoying, particularly if you're like a movie reviewer. But it is just a standard procedure that you have to deal with as part of, you know, being a YouTuber. So I definitely favor people being upfront and honest and clear about this sort of thing, and not putting a fast one over the audience's eyes, you know?
Us. Presently, they haven't done that. When we reported on what the United States president said and used the TV clip to prove he said it rather than just ask you to take our word for it, it was newsworthy, transformative. It included reporting and criticism, conveyance of news, technical context Bloomberg does not provide, especially given its tragic history with fucking up the Supermicro story, and even included parody near the claimed area. Bloomberg struck us over about 0.5% of content, and that part was under fair use. And we're not the only ones who think so. Friend of the channel and consumer advocate Louis Rossman had this to say.
This is a really slippery slope to go down. What, are we just going to accept that this is normal, that if one outlet records the president speaking, that outlet now has a monopoly on who is able to quote the president? It's insane. How are you supposed to demonstrate and prove that the president said this in your video if you can't use my recording of the president speaking? And if fair use is to mean anything at all, it would apply to when the Commander-in-Chief of the United States is speaking on a topic of relevance to a documentary. What is fair use for if you can't use it to quote the president speaking?
He's not alone either. Coverage from copyright attorney Leonard French also explores this topic.
If I'm right, and I'm right a lot, then the gamersnexus video is objectively a fair use, and it will be just a matter of how at this point. How do you convince Bloomberg to drop the claim? How do you get YouTube to put the video back up?
Copyright strikes are serious. You get 3 of them until your channel is terminated by YouTube. Abuse of this system also acts as a suppression, because if Bloomberg doesn't intend to file a lawsuit, it still gets the benefit of suppressing us for around...
Yes, exactly. Dude, also, when videos get... This totally fucks your video up as well. It massively interferes with the regular trajectory of how a video would perform, obviously, because it gets taken down for a period of time. So obviously it's not getting recommended, it's not getting clicks, etc. And then even if it goes back up, it still will probably mean that overall your video is going to get less, you know, viewership than it would have done organically without it, you know. Has POTUS weighed in on this yet? I don't know, dude. I don't know if Trump is. I don't know if this is on Trump's radar. Let's put it that way.
12 to 13 total days, which obliterates video momentum even if it does go back online. And it certainly helps them drive more views to their competing video in the meantime. You can see here that their views per day dropped by 50% within just a few days of us publishing our AI.
Okay, could this be it, possibly? Is this a reason? August 18th, first full day GM video is live. Traffic decreases 50% in 2 days. August 22nd, first full day GM video is deleted. Traffic increases by 13% within 24 hours. I just don't understand why they would file this. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I reckon they probably saw it and thought, ah, fuck it, there's some shitty YouTube channel, let's just nuke them from orbit. And they're never gonna say anything about it, they're just gonna have to eat it. And then obviously they pick the wrong channel because they always go to bat for themselves against this sort of behavior from big corpos.
GPU investigation. The first full day we were offline because of them, their traffic increased by 13% within 24 hours, which is very abnormal for a video that's already been up. The timeline is simple. A $15 billion per year publication, Bloomberg, filed the copyright strike claiming 75 seconds out of 209 minutes of content, all of which our attorneys will vigorously defend as transformative and fair use. The claim seized our ad revenue. It'll give it to the $15 billion per year mega corporation, Bloomberg. We called Bloomberg attorneys to confirm it was them and not a spoofed filing. Bloomberg's attorneys manually confirmed with us the copyright strike and then barked at us on the phone because they said it's inappropriate for us to call them. Our attorneys helped us file a counterclaim on the same day. Next, I asked Vitaly what he's doing 12 hours from now.
Bro, that is also good, dude. There's so many people that just assume and don't check. So that is, dude. They have literally, this has literally been handled perfectly at every step of the way by gamersnexus.
5 a.m. on Friday, August 22nd, Vitaly and I went on our next big adventure, got on a plane to New York City, and went to meet our new friends. This is one of them. This unmarked Bloomberg security guard followed us around and monitored us across multiple city blocks while we were nearby. Where's their logo?
Bro, that is insane.
On the left, yep.
Is it in shot? What's that? We are not from Bloomberg. It's a public sidewalk, so. And you'll even see him regularly appear in the background of some of our shots, as we must have made someone very uncomfortable with our presence.
I think Phil bringing the backup.
Is he?
Yeah.
Skulking about.
Back out. So I think what we'll do is, just to be extra safe, I'm gonna walk on the street in that turn lane, just so I'm 100% not on their property if you wanna follow me. And then I'm gonna stop on the other side of this, you know, this block they have on the ground where it changes. I'm gonna go on the other side of the sidewalk. While we were in the area, a Bloomberg employee said this.
Good luck with the operation. I just curious. So.
And by 11 a.m., we got to say hi to Bloomberg Security.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi. Bloomberg Security.
By 12 p.m., we saw our copyright counterclaim was approved by YouTube. 1 p.m., Bloomberg told us we have to ask them permission anytime we show Bloomberg.
In the future, if you'd like to use Bloomberg content, please reach out to me. No, that's not how fair use works. The whole point is you use it without permission. You don't need to ask for permission to use it. What the fuck, dude? One of the Bloomberg videos that you used in your work has since been updated by us.
And then admitted to us that Bloomberg retroactively changes its content after publishing, which is very interesting for a whole new host of reasons that we'll save for the future. Around 3 p.m., Bloomberg told our attorneys that they'd be happy to release the strike if we pay them a licensing fee in what felt to us like a shakedown. It's interesting to us, though, because we've covered Bloomberg reports a lot in the past. I've appeared on their podcast and I've made them money. So it's interesting because Bloomberg didn't have a problem with us covering them in the past. So we started trying to figure out what motive Bloomberg could possibly have for an illegitimate copyright strike. Bloomberg has teams of lawyers. Maybe they're used to steamrolling smaller media. Maybe they're pulling the ladder up after them, or maybe they're nervous, jealous of new media that's more agile.
Bro, also, licensing a license for a 75-second clip. Are you fucking kidding me? Just totally outlandish behavior from Bloomberg. And I'm telling you, it's because they think they can get away with this shit. That's it. They know that dude, it's like movie studios trying to fucking push people around for using some fucking shitter clip for their review.
Capable of getting the job done. We're not really sure what their motive was, but we came out here to try and figure it out. As one possibility, maybe Bloomberg copyright struck our video because it recently had a failed attempt to do what we did successfully. It flew all the way out to China to try and find AI GPUs and server racks. Failed to do so, had its access revoked, and then filmed a bunch of footage of sand in a desert. So could it be because of their pathetic botched attempts at doing what we did when they flew out to China, were unable to find anything they went looking for?
This seems more realistic to me. I can see this for sure. That seems more
Okay, that's
realistic.
wonderful. But how do I make money?
Thank you for the
off the press
$2.
people?
You got a license for that content? Classic. Indeed. Thank you for the $2.
Or filmed a bunch of sand in a desert, failed to provide any answers to the questions they were asking, and then came back
Raped.
empty-handed.
Totally
Bloomberg's own
raped.
viewers certainly had questions. They wrote things like this. Why is this a story? Bloomberg's big investigation is just China's building some data centers. We don't know what chips they use. Groundbreaking journalism. If you don't know, then you don't have a story. Reporting without any information. WTF, I thought they would actually show us real chips being used. Worthless information. By the way, that information I found on satellite maps as well without wasting so much money. And the best one, quote, the entire video basically Bloomberg don't know. So while we don't know exactly what Bloomberg's motive was, it certainly seems like not knowing is enough of a foundation for them to publish a story. Maybe it's not, because their video gets more views from copyright striking our video. Maybe also it's just a coincidence that the first time Bloomberg has a problem with our reporting, it has to do with what we think is underground government corruption by NVIDIA, which just happens to be a big sponsor of Bloomberg. Bloomberg's financial interests are...
Whoa, okay, hang on. Oh. Are we red string posting? Gotta be careful with the red string. I'm not a fan of the red string, I must say.
So intertwined with NVIDIA that it has an entire page dedicated to NVIDIA's sponsored content. Bloomberg's sponsored, paid-for content goes through great lengths to market NVIDIA's products, and in particular, its AI products that we've frequently criticized. After all, CEO Jensen Huang frequently appears on Bloomberg. He even had a trip to Taiwan the day after our video was pulled from the internet, with a lot of local Taiwan media talking about our story in relation to NVIDIA.
透过画面来了解这些晶片如何突破美国的管制，进到了中国的市场。只是没有想到，影片上架没几天就被平台以违反数位千禧年著作权法，昨天遭到无预警的下架。频道发布了官方声明，说著作权法系统遭到滥用，同时是不是也代表影片内容戳破了什么不能说的秘密呢？
H20, I'm very grateful that the U.S. government, the Trump administration, has approved licenses for us to export H20s to China.
As she said, what unspeakable secret was revealed? But maybe not. They could be totally unrelated. Maybe there's no bias there at all. Maybe NVIDIA isn't pulling any of its own strings. Perhaps instead, Bloomberg didn't like our coverage of China circumventing export controls because...
Okay, it's just this from 12 years ago. You know, that's the thing that just gives me pause. Like, is this really related to it? I think the other point was better. The connection between Bloomberg and NVIDIA. Sure, there's maybe something there, possibly. This just seems like a bit of a stretch, I think.
Bloomberg wants to protect its access to China. Bloomberg has been accused of suppressing its own China coverage in the past because it has a large presence in China to protect, with the Financial Times and New York Times both reporting on this. Maybe, as Lewis highlighted, it's because Bloomberg has been accused of trying to ruin reporters, including threats to financially devastate families, that's a quote, for challenging coverage in China. It could also be because Bloomberg is sponsored by Singapore's government, which happens to be one of the major channels we showed through which GPUs are smuggled into China. Maybe it was because recently they wrote a sponsored post.
I mean, the problem, the reason I'm you know, normally against the red string posting, but with this I'm like quite compelled to believe it because it's such a short clip, and that's why you never win a Pulitzer. Well, no, I'm just explaining to you why I think this could be true now. Because it's such a short clip, they've been so aggressive in their response to all of this. Like, I don't know, like, what other, like, do you really think that Bloomberg looked at this and thought, oh, this breaches our copyright, even though it clearly doesn't, and any fucking lawyer worth their salt would say this is easily fair use? It just, like, I know it's a bit conspiratorial. Normally I'm a bit skeptical about the conspiratorial stuff, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of convinced. I'm like, yeah, maybe Bloomberg did do this because of all these weird ties and shit that they've got. you know what I mean? I'm just a bit like, yeah, it's plausible. It's plausible to me. More plausible than a lot of other conspiratard shit that gets presented in not these guys, but other people's videos.
Wherein they praised PayPal's business growth and gave PayPal's CEO a platform. PayPal, of course, being the company that we recently filed a lawsuit against alleging theft from content creators. But maybe it's not that either. Perhaps Bloomberg copyright struck us because it wants to maintain control over a single platform to filter all political commentary through, disallowing the re-reporting of that commentary from presidents or politicians through a different political lens. No, that'd be state control.
Well, the thing is, I could understand if it was some mistake and they were immediately like, oh, very sorry, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that or something. But no, especially when they contacted the legal team and they were very aggressive in their response and they verified that it was them that had sent it, right? There's something going on there that isn't just like some intern fucking someone up.
Controlled media behavior. That'd be like propaganda and manipulation of the US populace and their ability to consume sources of information about their own government. The truth is, we're not sure why they chose to copyright strike that video. It sure seems, though, like they have a lot of reasons to do it, and not one of them is a valid, legitimate copyright claim of the clip that they flagged. And so we called Bloomberg.
Bro, what is this guy's deal? That's a public sidewalk, literally absolute right to record there. What the fuck, bro? And he's like pestering them. Being a pest.
Legal to confirm that Bloomberg takedowns at gmail.com was in fact controlled by Bloomberg. And I was met with a rude response.
Yeah, what is this intimidation? Yeah, it's like intimidation. Who has told the security guard to fuck? Like, dude, there's something going on here. This is not normal. This is not normal behavior from Bloomberg at all. Having this fucking security guard floating about when they're totally legitimately, without question legitimately, filming in the fucking public sidewalk.
Response from the legal team telling us that.
But he can't move them on. He's not allowed to. This is a public sidewalk. They've got an absolute 100% right to record here. He's like Mr. X from Resident Evil. Yes, he is a bit, isn't he? Although in the UK and Europe, I think he's called the Tyrant. Mr. X was the American name.
We needed to communicate to them only through lawyers. But they did confirm that this is a Bloomberg address. And they also confirmed that they manually reviewed the strike. They, in fact, manually reviewed the strike while I was on the phone with them. So someone has looked at this. And since they won't let us ask them questions via the phone, I guess we'll just do it here. Look, we can all predict the most likely outcome of walking in those doors with a camera, but you never know, and it's worth trying. In fact, when we researched it before flying out there, we found an article from Business Insider where their reporter said he got yelled at just for taking photos of sculptures in the lobby. Let's not pretend that getting kicked out would be a shock. But again, we wanted to try and get someone from PR or legal downstairs. We're here for an interview, Bloomberg, with Paul. My ID? Yeah. Should be Paul. Madeline would also work. We were asked to sit while they phoned the two lawyers whose names I gave. Like, this guy is important. This guy knows like a lot of politicians. I'm curious to see what they'll do. After what felt like an eternity, the lawyers sent security down. Again, no surprise.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm being a bit unreasonable on the security point. To be fair, to be a bit fair, I work in security. Clients often freak out when they see someone filming and they'll often try to order guards to do shit they shouldn't. Right, okay. Okay. Sure, I can see that. I'll be fair, I can see that.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Bloomberg Security.
Okay, and are you able to see if they're able to slot us
I
in?
will. I'll give them a call.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Security clearly was given their side of the story, and we recognize he probably doesn't get paid enough to deal with this shit, so we kept everything polite while explaining our side and just asked if he could try to make contact with them.
Okay, Chud.
So, I don't know all the business you related into, but apparently you posted some kind of video that has some Bloomberg content in it.
I think so.
Yeah, and they listen, they have no issue. You seem like nice guys.
I get it, you're doing your job.
All they ask is that but Evers out there, stuff like that. Please don't bring Bloomberg into your business. That's all.
But they're the ones who brought us to their.
They just use a clip in a fair use way. How are they bringing Bloomberg into it? Bloomberg are the one that filed the fucking copyright strike. Without the copyright strike, there'd be no issue.
How's that?
Because they filed a copyright strike on us. The point of saying it is, it's not I'm bringing Bloomberg into my business. It's actually the other way around from our perspective.
Yeah.
But I understand I understand you're doing your job. So
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not gonna meet with you.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We figured we'd try.
Yeah,
so.
and unfortunately, sorry to drag you down here.
That's
You seem
all
like
right.
Nice guys.
That's
and
all right.
everything. But we should
This security guard seems like a nice guy. I mean, I don't really think. I mean, he's only following orders, right? He's only following orders.
good luck with your venture.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for understanding.
Well, no, I appreciate
We
you
appreciate it.
being cool with us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Have a
Take it
great
easy.
weekend.
You too. Of course, the answer was expected. Security guy's not involved in this. He's just some guy. I'm
Following
sure he
orders.
gets paid a fraction of what the assholes who filed that claim get paid. Like a fraction of what those assholes get paid. So it's not his fight.
It's not his fight.
But we did get one really hard-hitting interview with a notorious street gangster. They call him the Pigeon. Sir, what do you think about Bloomberg? They're right across the street, sir.
Quirk chungus, quirk chungus, quirk chungus.
No comment. No comment at all. And even though neither interview subject would speak to us, including this more important one, it's not like this was a wasted trip.
What now, Steve?
I didn't really think that far. I don't know. Like, we could get pizza and then get home before 5 p.m.
Okay, let's go then.
All right, New York pizza. Besides, it was pretty cool meeting a few fans around New York and learning about their computers.
Yo, you the gamersnexus guy? Dude! My NCX T8 won!
Oh, really?
Because of you!
Oh, nice.
Like a man, bro.
Did you,
I got the second one.
Okay, good.
It's not
All
your
right.
fault, bro.
I was gonna say good. Yeah,
Get
yeah.
a selfie. Fucking go.
As for the movie, the best way to get a copy of it right now that's protected from being taken down would be to buy one of our backer tiers to get the supporter packs. These include a free 128 gigabyte USB key for hitting our stretch goal, and that includes a copy of the movie, so you can have a physical copy of it permanently, no matter who tries to take it down. And as for YouTube, the video will theoretically be back.
Interviewing a pigeon isn't funny. Talk about rape more. Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to have a go. I mean, it's whatever. Like, obviously, that's their little comedy insertion, isn't it? You know, I don't know, dude.
Back
Anyway.
online in 10 business days, assuming Bloomberg doesn't try to file some sort of frivolous lawsuit in the meantime. Bloomberg's attempt to kill the movie means we need to kickstart the algorithm to get it circulating again once it's back online. Millions of people who would have seen the movie in the future may never even know it exists. So to try and get even a fraction of the views that it was on track to get from our back-end statistics, let's blow the movie up as soon as it goes live. Open it on your computer, let it play when you go to sleep, let it play at work, run it while you're commuting, even if it's on mute. Anything to tell the algorithm.
It's too much to watch on stream, obviously, but no, I'm actually good. Might watch this. This seems like perfect, you know, background video material. This is so desperate. Is it? I don't know, dude. I don't think this is that crazy.
Algorithm, hey, wait a minute, this thing's interesting even though it had 0 views for over 10 days. As a community, let's make sure Bloomberg doesn't succeed in what they were trying to do. We don't know the exact date it'll go back up, but it should be again.
Bro, stopped it. Yeah. I was going to say I'm going to watch this, and then I thought, well, I might not watch it, and I don't want to be a bullshitter. So I changed it to I might watch this, just in case I don't, dude. Bro, I think about these things. I don't want to say I'm going to do something when I'm not 100% that I'm going to do it.